Hello and welcome to episode 18 of my Final Fantasy X NSGNSNCNONENNENBB challenge. So we have escaped Beacon, we have watched home get destroyed. We now need to get Yuna back. We need to get to Bevel. We need to go through the Cloister of Trials and reunite the party after that. But before that, we need to fly to Bevel and we need to beat Evray. And let's just say this was full of technical problems. Not least the problems of technically beating the damn thing anyway, but outside of that, the actual technical issues that arose from recording the damn thing. Now, I sort of said in the earlier videos at the beginning of the challenge that I'd done a lot of the challenge before I'd even kind of started then editing and doing the voiceovers. So a lot of the gameplay was sort of recorded in big stints, just so that I knew that I had a nice backlog of gameplay ready to go, and I could do video after video after video of just doing the voiceover and kind of piecing it all together. Now, it wasn't until we got to this kind of area that we realised that there was a huge problem in that the fight with Evray, basically that video file ended up completely corrupting, so I had no footage of the actual fight, which is a problem, because without the actual footage, there was kind of no way of doing the fight and carrying on with the challenge as normal. So I was kind of left at do I just kind of pick up the footage from where I was and just kind of carry on? Do I just kind of skip over that bit? Or do I try as much as possible to try and kind of resurrect the corrupted footage and see if I can kind of get any semblance of anything from that, and kind of post that up. So essentially what you will see at the beginning of this video is kind of the original kind of run through, and the prep that I was doing here, just checking my equipment, selling a few bits to Rin, just checking that everything that we've got is hunky-dory and lovely. And then essentially what happens is we have a couple of goes at it, and spoiler alert, we're unsuccessful. And upon then loading up the game later on to try and beat Evray again, because it's not particularly easy, especially with the limitations that we have, we finally get the victory and we carry on and we make it all the way to Bevel, and we make it to kind of the beginning of the cloisters, and that is the footage that's actually corrupted. So we have none of that. So essentially what I ended up doing was having to then reload. Fortunately, I kind of have a couple of older saves at various points of the game, and one of them was at the end of the big kind of item grind that we did in the last video in Beacon, of fighting a lot of zoos and obviously then making sure that we got the shadow gems from the sandworm. and there was a save at that save point where the kind of the crossroads were, off to the left where the dangerous stuff is, and then off to the right where the kind of story continued. So I managed to find a save file there. So I loaded that up and I played through Beacon again, and saved it just before the Evray fight. And so we were able to then go into that fight and get proper footage. So we had kind of a workaround. So technically speaking, that playthrough of that bit is way after the actual kind of main playthrough of beating the damn thing. But we managed to get the footage of the fight against Evray, and the idea then is to just kind of piece that in the middle bit here, and then obviously once we carry on, do the cloisters and everything, that's kind of then back to the original save file, the original playthrough. So essentially the fight against Evray here, we've got the same limitations as we had in the original fight, because obviously once we get through Beacon L, we didn't really get anything else. So that's sort of how that worked out, just so that we could get the damn footage, really. So it was a bit of a mare. Something else does happen, and I will then have to kind of explain that when we get there. But yes, that's basically sort of where we are with this. So essentially what we will see is kind of two attempts at Evray. The first one is the first fail that we get, where we then just kind of end the footage at that point, because I just stopped playing at that point. And then we kind of pick it up on the resave file, basically at the same point of the game. You'll see it when we get there. It'll make sense. Again, just kind of going through all this and getting all the items that we need. Making sure that we... Annoyingly, Rin is fleecing us slightly here, but, you know. But we don't have, in this save file, annoyingly, we don't have all of the our bed primers. So we're unable to do the kind of sneaky, give him all of the Albed primers and complete the language and get 99 door of tomorrows, which we can then sell for a boatload of money, because obviously we can't customize anything. So we don't have that, unfortunately, but we were never going to have that, because we don't have any other save file with a completed Albed primer list. So yeah, we can't do that, unfortunately. But you know, it is what it is. Now this is me trying to work out how the hell we get the game to progress. Because I got to the end there and the door was still shut. And I'm like, how the hell do we get this stupid door to open so that we can get to the fight with Evray? Like, what do we do here? Because, as I say, it's been a bit of a while since playing. But we'll work it out in a minute. Again, just a little bit of fine-tuning. Essentially, the issue we're going to have with Evray is, obviously, it's got about 30-odd thousand health, so we need to do a lot of damage to it. We've got to work the... yeah, this is me for some reason thinking that I might have an extra file, which I don't have. So we have to work the kind of moving in close and moving far away from it a lot. And a lot of that is because we need to avoid its poison spray. Essentially, poison spray is going to completely wipe us out in one hit. The only character that might survive it is Oren. If he is shelled, and if he is basically at full health, he will end up with about 200 or 300 health and likely be poisoned. But everybody else will 100% die, even if they're shelled. Defending doesn't help because it's not a physical attack. So that's literally all we can get, right? So we have to make sure that we move. There we go. We have to make sure that we're moving back enough from the poison spray. But also, because we're then so far away, it's difficult for us to deal a decent amount of damage to it. The other thing we then have to consider is when it gets to just under 11,000 health, it will haste itself. And once it's hasted itself, it's then a race against time in order to wipe it out, because obviously not only have we got to consider the moving back when we can give the command as either Riku or Tidus, but Sid has got to have the turn in order to actually move us back. Now we can haste ourselves all day long, lovely, and if we're hasted and it's hasted, it's a bit more balanced in terms of who gets what go, but we can't haste Sid. So if Sid doesn't get a turn, then we can keep telling him to pull back and get out of the way of the poison spray all we like. He won't do it because we won't get round to him. So, as I say, it's then kind of a race against time to defeat the thing before, because if it just keeps poison spraying us relatively easily, then basically it's game over because it's an AoE attack. The only person that can survive it is Oren. Even if Oren survives, he could potentially either cleanse himself of the poison or heal. If he heals, he'll then likely take damage, obviously from the poison tick, which will drop him down from his max health, so he then won't have enough health to actually survive the next poison spray. And this is on top of the fact that it will still kind of swipe at us. We can blind him with either Wakka's Dark Attack or with Smoke Bombs, but he can still hit us through that. It's unlikely, but he can. But he can also use Stone Stare, or whatever it's called. Basically, it completely stones one character. And then if he attacks that character afterwards, you basically crumble to dust, and then you're only left with two characters. So, and obviously once you're stoned, you lose any kind of buffs that you've got, including haste, and shell, things like that. So that's a problem. So, and the only person really that can deal significant damage to it is Riku. So, yeah, it's a case of getting it down to just before it hastes, then when it hastes, just going hell for leather at it and beating it as quick as possible, because if it gets poison spray in, basically we're knackered. So that is kind of what we're gonna have to contend with. Obviously we don't have Yuna for healing, we don't have Yuna for stoneproof either, because she's the only character that has a stoneproof armor. So yeah, it's a tough one. Let's put it that way. It's a tough one, mainly because it can haste itself and because its biggest attack, although it takes 2 attacks to sort of charge it and do it, once it's hasted, it's basically breathe in and then pretty much immediately it will use poison spray. And you might, if you're lucky, you might get one character that gets an attack in between those, maybe. So, yeah, that's what we've got to contend with here. So we've got to get ourselves out as early as possible. We've also, I haven't mentioned, we've also, at the beginning of this, got to make sure that we get some water gems, because if we don't have the water gems, it makes the bit across the it's either the bit up the high wind or the bit on the bridge directly after, and I think it's the bit up the high wind before you fight Seymour again. Basically, you need water gems there in order to defeat some of the enemies quickly enough. And you've still got to kind of get lucky as to where the damage gets distributed. But if we don't get the water gems here, we're kind of knackered. So, and this is the first and only time, so obviously we're going to have to waste, in inverted commas, some of Riku's turns just stealing. And obviously the longer it takes to steal, the more opportunities Evray has at attacking us. So ideally, we need a rare steal and a regular steal basically straight away. Or, I mean, if we get really lucky, 2 rare steals. But we need 3 water gems, and we could do with that in 2 steals. Because once we get down to the 25% chance, we're missing more often than we're not, and then we're wasting more turns in order to get the last water gem. So that's sort of where we are. So yeah, spoiler alert, this first attempt here will be a fail. I could have kind of cut this out, but I kind of wanted to just explain the thought process and the reasoning during this first one, and then you can kind of see just how easy it is to get completely wiped out by this thing. It's a bastard. It hits hard anyway, and the AoE poison is brutal. And as I'm sure you've seen from me using poison in this game, the poison ticks are brutal. Absolutely brutal. So yeah, it's just kind of explaining the pull-in. So you will see there, under Tidus's first, or Riku's now, under her second thing, or now under the boss, is a Cid face. So when Cid gets to his, if he's been given the instruction to pull back, he will pull back. So yeah, we need haste on Riku immediately. We need to dark Evray as quick as possible as well, because then its swipe attacks won't... Generally, they won't hit us. Obviously, it still can. And we also need to steal from him. So that's sort of our first 3 things there. We haste her, we blind it, and we steal. And we get another go now, and hopefully we get to steal again. But there we go, we've already wasted a turn, because we can't do anything. We can do a bit of damage to it here, but as you'll see, it's got sort of 30-odd thousand health. There we go, 32 it starts with. So obviously we're not doing a lot to it. We do need to power break it as well, because obviously if one of those swipe attacks does land, we need to kind of mitigate that as best as possible. And most of our damage will come from 2 areas. One being the poison fangs from Riku. It seems like an odd choice there to do a shell on Auron at that point, but you know. And there we go, another steal that's wasted. There we go, we get the rare steal. But here we go, it's done its breath attack. So we have to move back, and we already can't, because I'm looking at the turn order, and Cid will get to go after the boss gets to go. So the boss will exhale its poison at us now, basically, and that will kill everyone apart from... Okay, Auron's shelled, so Auron won't actually die, which is fortunate that I actually did use the lunar curtain on it. That's actually quite fortunate. if we swap Riku out, she won't die? Yeah, that makes sense. Just trying to look for anything half decent. I mean, there's a stone ward. Maybe that will help us. But probably not. I think we attempt slow here, yeah. And it's sort of, after this fight, after I do a bit more research, basically we learn that Evray is not susceptible to slow. The only way we can kind of delay it is with a silver hourglass, which we don't have. And even once it hastes itself, if you try and use a silver hourglass on it to delay its attacks, it just rehastes itself. It has no... Effectively, all you do is waste a turn, because it will immediately just haste itself again anyway. So there's no point. So yeah, this will show how deadly this is. So yeah, 1400, Oren 700, so he's the only one that can survive that. Luckily, he's not poisoned, which is a bit fortunate. And then, yeah, the stone gaze. So if we don't... sort that out, yeah, there we go. So now Walker's back with us. But if we don't sort that out and he gets hit, like there, he got attacked, it's possible that he would have been destroyed. Okay, so we've got another water gem. As I say, this does fail, this attempt, ultimately. We just don't, after that first poison spray, there we go, we just don't ever really get into the rhythm of it. Because, again, Sid doesn't get a turn until after the boss. So, yeah. Essentially, the only person that can survive again is Oren. Can bring Oren back out and heal him. But weirdly, that the fight is sort of already lost, really. Are we going to heal him, or have we? I'm not sure if we just kind of admit defeat. No, okay, we are going to try. Yeah. So there's the poison breath again. So this will be Lulu and Kimari down. Oren's left with about 200. I'm guessing this is going to be... I think his blind has run out. Yeah, his blind's run out. So there's Kimari dead immediately. Smoke bomb? Yeah, okay. So yeah, that there seemed quite quick because it was Sid's turn next. He was able to kind of get us with that. Ah yes, photon spray. This is the other problem. Now this is a magical based attack, and yeah, it takes Riku out. A, because she doesn't have any health, and B, she hasn't got any other allies to soak up any of the damage. We can mitigate that with Shell, which we will do. So yes, ultimately, this now is the reload. So after, I don't know how many weeks and months later, this is after I've gone back through the bit through Beacon. We're basically going, right, screw you, Evray, we will have another fight with you, and we will this time beat you properly. Or at least attempt to. So yeah, my items might be slightly different based on obviously what happened at the end of Beacon, but we're basically still the same. We've got as many poison fangs as we had, which is our main thing to attack with. We've got our shadow gems. We still need to... I'm still going to attempt to get the water gems because I know that I need them later on, even though technically speaking I've already done that bit on another save. But we're going to stay true to it. We're going to be fair, and we're going to be like, well, we need to get the water gems. We're going to do this as kind of straight as possible. And the main thing is going to be avoiding that damn poison spray. Because it's a bastard. So yeah. Same amount of chocolate feathers, yeah, same amount of haste, same amount of shells and protects, same amount of everything basically. I think I might have, yeah, one more smoke bomb, but when you've got 97, I mean, we're not going to use 90 odd on this fight anyway, so that's by the by. We're also going to steal. Come on, rare steal. Nope, okay, fine. There's one swipe. There's the rare steal. So we've got the 3 that we need. So we did get luckier here, and that's sort of half of this fight's main thing, really, is you need to be lucky enough to get those water gems as quick as possible. You really do need them as quick as you can get them. And the power break again. So we've done the basic thing, hasted Riku, stolen the water gems, blinded it, power break it. The next phase, which we never really got to in the last fight, is sort of pulling back and buffing everyone up as much as possible, dealing long-range damage. So Kimari with Lancet, Lulu with spells, and Waka with the ball. And if you haven't played this, or if you can't remember, a secret weapon, as it were. I mean, Riku, though, we might as well do some damage. No, we're going to steal again. Okay, we've got a 4th water gem. Being a bit greedy, but hey, we've got 4 water gems. We're good now. We're definitely good for water gems. We're perfectly fine. So, yeah. Obviously, it didn't breathe in for poison, so it just hits with photon spray, and Riku just about survives there. But because the damage was spread across the other 2 characters, it was less of a, like, obviously she wouldn't have survived it on her own. I don't even think Tidus would have survived that on his own, let's be fair. Oren probably would have done. But, yeah, so all the characters back here need Shell as protection. And at this point, if we just stay here, all it's going to do is hit us with photon spray again and again and again and again. So we haven't got to worry about the poison spray at the moment. And we do still have a means to hit it and to hurt it. So we're in a bit of a safer position here, and we can kind of take the fight to it. Obviously, if we shell people, that helps protect against this because it's a magic attack, as we're going to see here. There we go, 50 odd for those 2 and 100 for Kimari. So, haha, yes. Now, if we have any missiles left, we have 3 attempts at this, and it's Sid's turn, and you're far away enough, he will hit it for this. And 3 lots of this will take, I think it's about 9,000 damage off of it. So nearly a third of its health will be gone from that, which is very, very handy. It's exactly what we need. Obviously, Oren here is basically useless. Yes, he's okay as a damage sponge, but he's essentially useless. Riku is just obviously going to be the buff machine, as it were. Getting people hasted, getting people with shell, healing where possible with some Albed potions. Oren managed to avoid all of that damage. I think Sid's got a turn soon as well, yeah, so we're going to get another big old chunk of damage off of it, which is great. Mara, you could do with a Lancet, mate. Get yourself some health back. Yeah, so we've not even done 4,000 damage to it yet, so yeah. We're getting to the point now where, especially against bosses, we need stronger items. These items are not good enough now. Obviously the main ones that we've got are kind of AoE ones: smoke bomb, silence grenade, sleep powder. They're useful for their effects if the bosses are susceptible to them, like this one is to dark. But outside of that, because they're area attacks, they just don't do enough damage. Like, Poison Fang is the only thing that we've got that is a single target item, kind of a decent amount, that will then do kind of between 1500 and 2000 damage. So we kind of need those single target high damage items in order to kind of make life a bit easier for ourselves and chip away some of these bosses a bit easier. Because yeah, they're now getting to the point where like that's the only way we can realistically do anything of significance to them. Maybe elemental gems, because they do like 5 different attacks, and if you've only got the one boss character, you know that they're all going to hit the one target. They're quite useful. Obviously we haven't really been able to get them until now with the water gems, so when we can get more of those, we can get fire gems, etc. They will be very useful. And obviously with the Poison Fang element, we're not able to get any more yet. And because of that, we can't use all of our poison sprays up, because we need to keep hold of at least one. We need a Poison Fang item for slightly later on, before we're able to get them again in the Calmlands. We need one. So annoyingly, against Evray, we can't just spam them and use them all up. I think yeah, we've run out of the missiles now. So we've got Kamara's Lancet. It's still got 23,000, so we've still got to do about 12,000 damage to it before it goes into haste mode, and before we have to then go hell for leather. So we've got to get, essentially we've got to get closer again, so that we can start chipping away at it. Being all the way back here, I mean we can, but because we're only doing like 100 damage on average between those 3 characters a turn, for each of them, we need to do, what's that? If we need to do about 12,000 damage and we're doing 100, so we need like over 100 attacks. And when we're getting maybe 4 or 5 in between its attacks, basically we're going to be here forever. And I think we'd actually probably run out of items to cure ourselves, like outbed potions and high potions and things. So yeah, we need to move in, we need to hit it hard. The problem is now its blind has run out again, which is a problem. Go back. Just a minute. Now that might seem crazy, pulling back immediately. There is some logic behind it. Obviously before it before, when we were close to it, it never used its poison mist, poison spray attack, so we kind of need to force that out of it. There we go, because it keeps its turn order essentially after the swipes. So now, because Sid will move back before Evray gets a chance to do anything to us, Its next attack will be the poison spray, but we will be too far away to be affected by it, thankfully. So we kind of got some free hits on it now with various characters, which is great. We might as well use Kamari and Oren because they're going to do the most damage to it while we're up close. We can spam some of these poison sprays as well because it's the thing that will do the most damage. It's already blinded, so that's great. Sid moves us back, and I think it's going to get the next turn, is it? Oh, one more from Riku. So I guess we swap over to somebody because they're all hasted and shelled and everything. It would make most sense to just swap over to... Yeah, we just move in now. We could do. And again, obviously, the moving in and out is based on Sid's turns, so we actually do have opportunity potentially to cancel that command if Riku or Tidus is in the party. Like, as long as they get a turn before Sid, they can basically cancel that. But we need to get him back to his swipe loop first, so we need the stone breath now. Essentially because when he hastes, we want to make sure that his turn order is in the right sequence for us. So we've got to kind of manipulate everybody's turn slightly, as it were. This was it was so... Coming to do the original edit for this, it was so demoralising seeing that I didn't have the proper footage of this and knowing that I couldn't just skip this fight because it's so significant. It's such a kind of important boss to show because you have to be so specific with how you beat the thing. And you kind of need to prove that basically. It's a faff. So yeah. It's one of them, really. It's yeah. Not an ideal situation, but hey. We go back, we get it done. Looking ahead at the other footage that I've got, fingers crossed, it all looks okay. So hopefully we shouldn't get this kind of problem again. And obviously when kind of recording newer bits, I'm going back and I'm kind of checking stuff better, shall we say. So it was my own fault really for not checking at the time, because if I'd have checked at the time I'd have seen that there would have been a problem, and I could have gone back immediately and kind of fixed it basically. Stone gaze on Lulu, that's not too bad, that's fine. Soft. Right, you've got two choices. Do you pull back with either a Tidus or a Riku? Yeah, I think we're gonna. Oh no, we're just gonna... Okay, we're just gonna Owlbed Potion. Cool. Heal Lulu, heal Kimari, cleanse Lulu. Problem solved. Yeah, that makes sense. And now we're on... I think we're back to swipes now. So it's swipe, swipe, poison spray or poison breath, whatever you want to call it, and then stone gaze. But obviously the poison is in two stages, so it's swipe, swipe, breathe in, then spray, then stone gaze. Oh, nice bits of damage here. Nice. 11,000. Okay, so we're getting very close to the hasted stage. Getting very, very close to the hasted stage, which, right. is whenever he kicks it up a notch, shall we say. So we have got to be very, very careful and very specific about the damage that we do to it. But it's just done its 2 swipes, I think. It's certainly done 1. I believe it might have done a second. So we kind of need to coax another poison spray out of it ahead of the haste. What we definitely don't want is to get it into haste and then it immediately uses poison spray, because then we're screwed. So I think we're just trying to kind of work out here how many attacks realistically we can do on it, when to get Sid to kind of pull back, when he gets an opportunity to. I think we're probably going to have to do it now, because looking at it, he's going to get 2 goes before Sid gets another opportunity, which should be interesting. We'll see. So he's pulled back. Obviously he didn't breathe in, so haven't got that to worry about. But yeah, we need to work our way closer, and then we can then force another poison spray out of it. That's basically our intention. Feel as tense watching this back as I did doing it. Obviously Lulu's lost all of her, yeah, we need to rebuff Lulu, don't we? Because she got stoned. Which is a bit of a pain, but hey, we've managed to avoid the poison breath, which is great. We've only been stone gazed once, which is great. So yeah, we've got to the point where we're really working out exactly what we've got to do, in what order, in what way. Not sure why I used a high potion on Waka there. A normal one would have done just fine, but never mind. It is what it is. Right. So now we move in. Now we coax the poison spray out of him. So we need to... He's gonna get a go. Yeah, see that? Yeah, we definitely can't hit him with a poison fang. That will completely screw us up. We kind of want his blinds to run out as well, so that then the next big thing we hit him with is a smoke bomb, so that we know that he's it's not going to run out. Because what we don't want to do is, when he's hasted, we don't want to have to waste an attack on only using a smoke bomb, because it won't do anywhere near as much damage. We need to be basically hitting him with poison fangs, as many as possible. So we kind of need to get him down a tiny bit more, closer to that kind of threshold. So yeah, what have we got now? It is literally just a case of turn manipulation. Yeah, 122. So we're basically at the threshold now. I think 107 something is about what we can get him down to, if memory serves. Everybody is buffed, which is great. So yeah, oh yeah, Oran could do with a bit more health. Again, just in case of poison spray, we need to really be looking after ourselves. Yeah, Shell and Hasted, great. We don't really need anything else. A little bit of health is good. Yep, lovely. A little bit of health. Right, so yeah, we use the old weapon swap trick. So now he's going to breathe in, but Sid does have a turn coming up soon. So, and his blind has just run out. So, basically perfect for us. If we pull back now, Sid will get a go in a couple of turns. Yeah, don't want to be don't want to be hurting it now. I do sort of want Riku at the helm pretty much straight away, I would have thought. Again, because of her speed. Might as well try a steal. It's worth a go. You never know. Right. So we pull back. The poison misses, which is coming now, or in a minute. We might as well move back in now because it's a little while until Sid gets a turn, and at least if we do it now, then we'll move in when we need to. So Sid will move us in when we have to. They both get protected. There we go. Yep. The breath misses, which is perfect. That's exactly what we need. We've got a couple of goes to basically waste. We're going to get hit with one photon spray because the boss has got a turn before Sid does. But that's fine. It's only a photon spray. It's not going to do too much to us. Not to these characters anyway. Though we should be fine. We could even, yeah, sponge up from other characters, which is, yeah, pretty good idea. Because Kamara is not going to be of much help to us towards the end of this fight. We need Riku protected and out the way. Because don't forget, as soon as it goes into haste, he's going to have Stone Gaze as well. He's going to have Stone Gaze, 2 swipe attacks, and then he's going to breathe in for poison spray. So somebody is going to get set to stone. And we really need it to not be Riku. Really need it to not be Riku. Because essentially, once we pull back in, we're going to hit it with a smoke bomb, re-blinding it, so its swipe attacks hopefully don't do anything. And then we're then going to put it into haste because of that. And then we're just going to go hell for leather on it because we've got no choice. We do not have the time to be faffing about, basically. We've just got to hit as hard and as quick as possible with everyone that we've got. So, first things first, smoke bomb. Surely a smoke bomb? We're just trying to mentally prepare ourselves for what, because obviously this is me kind of talking it through with you, but trying to kind of work it through in my own head then, essentially, to try and work out what the hell we're doing. because he's at the health threshold. Like, the next anything that hurts him will send him into haste. So there we go. He's blinded. He immediately goes into haste, which I think was his next turn. So yeah, we've got to survive a stone gaze and 2 swipe attacks. So Oren needs to hit hard. Not bad. And yeah, Lulu is pointless having you. Kimari will hit harder, so we will have him. Not bad. Oh, okay. So the haste takes the part of Stone Gaze. So we've gone swipe 1. The next thing will be a swipe again, and we need to do more damage to it. So we've got swipe again in a minute. Just need to just keep chipping it down, keep chipping it down, keep chipping away at it. Now the problem we've got is he's now going to swipe. Sid has his turn. Sid doesn't have a turn between the 2 boss turns, so he's going to breathe in now, and he is going to hit us with poison breath. He will hit us with poison breath. We've got no way of protecting against that. It's impossible. So we might as well do as much damage to him as we can. We've only got 2 poison fangs left as well. And as I said before, we need to keep hold of one of those for slightly later on. So we can't use both of those poison fangs. We can only use one more. So, as I say, we've kind of just got to go hell for leather and see what we get. So we've got 3,000 health. So another poison fang will take it to just over 1,000. We've then got a hit from our 2 beefy lads. Oh, so 988, so he's gone under 1,000, which is good. Another hit from Kimari. Smack him in the face. Because he's going to do more damage, let's be honest. He's going to do a lot more damage. There's nothing really we can do to avoid it. He's going to poison breath us. He will hit us with poison breath. And Kimari has not got enough health to withstand it. So we've just got to hit the damn thing. And same with Oren. We've just got to hit him, and we've got to suck it up effectively. That was stupid because I think I defended there. Might as well have hit it. So Sid's got a turn coming up. If we can get ourselves away a bit, we can do stuff. There's the swipe. Then he's going to pull back. Now, instead of using photon spray, yes, this is the issue. So that was kind of a bit of a waste. Because it probably would have been better off taking another physical hit. But it's fine. We've got... we need Riku back, obviously. Waka's got a bit more health, so even if he gets slashed at, he probably will survive. He's got 800 odd, so... yeah, Oren's just going to die to the poison, so that's no good. Absolutely no good. And Tidus is likely going to get done in. And he's got 2 turns now, so we get Riku back, and then we can swap him out. Because the boss is going to be going next anyway, so And if Waka gets hit, he is more likely to survive, shall we say, because of his health. So, yeah. We've got 2 attacks to withstand. I think one of them is a swipe, and one is an inhale. So again, his next attack is poison spray. And he is going before Sid. And Oren is already knackered. So it's basically last chance saloon. How much health has he got? He's only got 600 odd. One more item. One more item will finish him off. Ideally, we'd want to use a poison spray just to be doubly sure, but we need to keep hold of that poison fang, so we can't use that poison fang. So it's all on this smoke bomb, and it does over 700. Thank God for that. Now, after this, we are then due to fight some troops on the thing, and as you will see, that cuts off there. Now the reason for that is because I got another file corruption and basically had to go through Evray again. So that footage there was me doing it, I think, the 3rd time, because essentially getting through it again, it seemed to be these cutscenes that corrupted the file for whatever reason. So essentially what I did was, in that menu, I well, before we kind of carried on there, I cut the video on my PlayStation just to keep that restored, and then started a new one. Now the new one contained obviously the fight against all the monks and the machina and stuff up the bridge after this cutscene, before we get actually up to where Seymour and Yuna are. But again, because of these cutscenes, that footage is corrupted, and I'm sorry, but I refuse to fight Evray again for like the 4th time, just so that I can get to the point where we fight a couple of monks. Because obviously after the Evray fight, there's no save point. You have to basically do the whole thing in one go. And you then get to save just outside the Cloister of Trials. So essentially, when that corrupted, the only thing I could do was like reset the computer and go through the Evray fight again in order to get to the point with the monks. And at that point, I was ready to essentially throw my PS5 out the bloody window. So that's why I've taken these cutscenes and spliced them in myself. I've taken them from another source, just because they're part of the story. So yeah, after that bit on the rails, we then got the 5 fights, I think, against the monks and the machina, where you have to put the monk, or put one of the monks to sleep, then you have to heal him, then you have to blind the kicking guy, and then kill the other monk with that. But obviously you've healed the first monk, so he doesn't die, because if the machina's left on its own, he'll then just eject you all from the fight. So you then kind of kill him off with like dragon scales and water damage, and then you can kill the other one. So yeah, it's a faff. So sorry for that. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you again next time, because this is going to conclude here at the end of this cutscene. So apologies for missing that small section, but it was the best I could do with the situation that we had. So I do apologise that there is a section missing. Goodbye.